Jason had lived through enough death to know the difference between a memory and a message. But when he heard her voice, Britt's voice, unmistakable, vibrant, defiant, cutting through the static of a disconnected line at the Five Poppies resort, something in him snapped to attention. It wasn't just grief this time. It was instinct. A gut-deep certainty that the woman the world had mourned, the woman he himself had buried in the quiet corners of his soul, was somehow alive. Britt hadn't just vanished, she had escaped. And Jason was going to find her. Everything in his life had been pointing to this moment. The doubts that had crept in when he learned the paperwork for Britt's cremation had never been filed. The inconsistencies in the autopsy. The whispered rumors about shadowy experiments and classified medical cases. Carly had warned him not to get lost in ghosts, not to reopen old wounds. But Carly didn't see what Jason saw. She didn't hear what he heard. He didn't expect her to believe him, no one would. But he believed. And belief, in Jason's world, meant action. He turned to Anna. The one person in Port Charles who understood that the world wasn't as black and white as it seemed. Anna had lived her own life in the shadows, and she knew that death could be just another layer of deception. When Jason arrived at her home with urgency carved into every line of his face, she didn't hesitate. She listened. And when Jason explained the loose ends surrounding Britt's alleged death, Anna didn't mock or doubt, she aligned. Her training told her it was improbable. Her heart told her it was possible. And in Anna's world, possibility was all you needed to move. They made the call together. Five Poppies Resort. A secluded, high-end facility known for catering to the elite, but whispered about in WSB circles as something more sinister. The kind of place that didn't just offer luxury. It offered disappearance. Jason's call was brief, cut off by a manager's impatient hang-up. But in the background, loud, angry, familiar, was a voice that didn't belong in that world. A voice that didn't belong to a memory. Britt. Cursing someone out, just as unapologetically alive as the last time he held her in his arms. Anna could see it in Jason's eyes. The man who rarely let his emotions show had been cracked open by a few seconds of audio. But he wasn't reckless. He didn't storm off without a plan. He kissed her on the cheek, thanked her, and left. Because Britt was somewhere behind guarded doors, and Jason knew how to get through doors. The address he was given led to a facility hidden beneath the lush veneer of a tropical getaway. It wasn't on any public record. No signage. No clear access. Just a perimeter of silence guarded by men in black. Jason approached calmly, trying first with words. The guards didn't even blink. Then he tried something else. A distraction. A calculated takedown. Seconds later, he slipped past the unconscious body of a man twice his size, and entered the place where he believed Britt had been hidden, or imprisoned. Inside, it was clinical and cold. The kind of place that pretended to be a spa but reeked of antiseptic and secrecy. Jason moved like a phantom, every step measured, every hallway a potential trap. He was close, he could feel it. But before he could locate Britt, a second line of guards appeared. This time, they were armed. Back in Port Charles, a different mission had begun. Emma, finally confronting the depth of corruption surrounding her family, had made a choice that no teenager should have to make, betray trust in service of the truth. She had stolen Vaughn's key. It was a key that unlocked more than a door, it unlocked the secrets of Dalton's underground lab. Secrets that had been whispered through late-night texts and half-coded files. Secrets that had driven good people mad, and others into silence. But Emma wasn't going in alone. Gio had seen the worry behind her brave facade. He had seen the weight she carried, and he wouldn't let her carry it alone. Taking the key from her hand, he promised to be her eyes, her hands, her shield. If someone had to sneak in, it would be him. Emma was smart, she could track from the outside. But Gio had the agility and nerve to move unseen. Together, they formed an unlikely alliance. Two teens diving headfirst into a conspiracy that stretched well beyond their comprehension. Dalton's lab wasn't just a place of science, it was a vault of nightmares. It was where human experimentation crossed into the realm of the inhumane. Geo had heard whispers of DNA tampering, of behavioral control implants, of a restoration program aimed at reviving damaged or deteriorating minds. What no one knew, what even Anna and Jason had yet to discover, was that Britt's name had once appeared in the system, flagged as a candidate of interest. Joe's infiltration started smoothly. The lab, buried beneath layers of misdirection, had a security protocol reliant on facial recognition. Fortunately, Dalton hadn't expected anyone so young to pose a threat. Once inside, Geo found a terminal, a glowing screen with layers of encrypted files. And there, buried beneath a decoy folder labeled Rehab Schedules, was a directory of medical case studies. He clicked. The first image was a blurred scan of Britt's neurological structure. The title, Project Valkyrie, Cognitive Stabilization of Huntington's Variant D. Back at 5 Poppies, Jason wasn't faring as well. He had managed to disable 2 guards, but the facility had gone into lockdown. Alarms blared. The hallway lights turned red. Jason ducked into a side chamber, heart pounding, not from fear, but fury. They were hiding her. They were using her. But he wouldn't leave without her. Not again. He found a computer console and smashed his way into the administrative files. No name under Britt. But there was a patient listed under the alias B. Valen. He clicked the file. The face that appeared on screen was hers, gaunt but alive. And beneath her image, status, Phase 3 integration. Next procedure, August 3rd. She was still there. Still alive. But whatever integration meant, he had less than 48 hours to stop it. Jason made his move. He used the computer to create a false medical emergency in a separate wing, drawing the remaining security away. Then he followed the digital blueprint to room C-17. He opened the door. Inside, dim lighting bathed a figure lying on a cot. Her back was to him, hooked to and fore, her breath steady but shallow. He whispered her name. Britt. She didn't move. He stepped closer. A nurse appeared in the doorway, needle raised. Jason spun, grabbed her arm, and knocked her unconscious with brutal precision. The crash startled the woman on the bed. Slowly, she turned. It was Britt. Her eyes were unfocused at first, clouded by sedation. Then, recognition flickered. Jason, she whispered, her voice broken but real. He took her hand. I'm getting you out. But as the door behind him slammed shut and the locking mechanism engaged, Jason realized, this wasn't a rescue. It was a trap. And someone had been waiting for him all along. Meanwhile, back in Port Charles, Anna's phone buzzed. An encrypted message from an anonymous server popped up, * Morgan located. Retrieval in progress. Engage backup * and in the darkness of Dalton's lab, Geo stared at the screen as new images loaded, Jason's photo. Timestamped. Tracked. Marked, priority asset, everything was connected. Every move had been anticipated. And now, with Jason inside, Britt sedated, and the truth on the verge of exposure, the players behind the curtain were about to make their most dangerous move yet. But they had underestimated one thing. Jason had already died once for Britt. And if he had to tear down the world to save her again, he would.